Good evening, everyone. So, I think I've answered most of your queries here that are regarding the assignment submission and exam. Someone has raised his hand in between. Magijan. Okay, Anil is saying that he has registered and paid exam fees for GIS. So, I think GIS is a different course than this. So you will be giving exam for the GIS only. Okay. So if you want to give exam for this course, then you have to register for this course exam also. Okay. Okay. So it's already 7-8. Any more question, guys? Do you want to ask anything else apart from this assignment submission or something? Any related queries which you want to ask? No queries? Okay. Then I think we can start the session now. Sir, when will be the class for GIS start? So, Anil, actually, you can check your mail regarding the GIS class. That will contain the information regarding the GIS class and when it is going to start. Apart from that, we generally don't have any information regarding the course when they are going to start. Those information are with the course instructor and the NPTEL team. So we are just TAship, teaching assistantship, which we perform to have a live interaction between the student. And I can answer for only this course only, like EIA only. Okay. Someone wants to join the call. Let's see. Indra wants to join. Okay. Okay. And any other doubt, students? No doubt. Okay. So don't worry. Even if you have doubt, you can write in between, and then we can answer your queries. Okay. Sudesh has raised a hand. Hello, who is this? Mhm. Hmm. Hmm. Yes, PW. Yeah. Yes. So, what is your doubt? Yeah, India has ratified the ESPO convention. They are not only the signatory of ESPO convention, they have also, see, generally what happens uh, whenever there is a talk regarding, like, some international body starts a type of convention to discuss a problem, like there is a problem of environmental impact. So we had a ESPO convention, that is a binding convention. So whoever takes part in that, they have to actually commit to that impact or something, or the subject which for which that convention belong. Another thing is that government cannot commit on the behalf of government cannot commit on the behalf of people. So generally, Ministry of Foreign Affairs people go and discuss and have a talk with the other parties. But that document has to be ratified by the Parliament of India. So not only Parliament of India, Parliament of any other country. Okay. So that is called ratification. Ratification, RATIFICATION. Okay. So when parliament or if the executive has that power, so they ratified it. Okay. So India has already ratified the ESPO convention. That's why we have EIA. Na? We are also planning to have a amendment to the EIA also. So professor have put a link. So if you get a time, there is a very good video. Actually, I went through that video in preparing of the slides. So we will see that video if we get time. Okay. So India is actually preparing a new draft EIA rule where some of the stringent norms are actually lowered down so that more development can occur. And okay. So any other question apart from this? Okay, so you can lower your hand. Okay, so if anyone else want to ask any question regarding the slides or regarding the weekly content of, or is there anything you want to discuss apart from this? No, no problem. Even if you have any non-academic questions, also you can ask, like how is the exam, how exams are conducted, everything. Okay. So if everything is okay, then I think we can start the this course now for today's interaction session. Okay, let me share my slides. Live session slides. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's start. So my slide is visible to all. Can anyone confirm from the students? Okay, thank you. So check everything is okay. Okay. So, once again, good evening, everyone. Once again, welcome you all to the NPTEL live session of Environmental Impact Assessment. This is live session 3 being conducted on 13th of February. The course instructor is Professor Harshit Sohan Lakra, and she is Assistant Professor in Department of Architecture and Planning, IIT Roorkee. I am Rohit. I am a teaching assistant for this course, and we will be having a lot of interaction regarding this course. Okay, so even if you have a slight doubt in any of the content, please feel free to ask your question. So generally what we do, we follow two methodology for that. So what we follow, we generally have two methodology. Either you can ask your doubts directly to me by unmuting your mic and taking permission that I have a doubt. Otherwise, you can always use the chat box to get your queries addressed. Okay. So in between, I will read your chat box, and then someone has. Okay, in between I will read your chat box and try to answer your queries in the session itself. Otherwise, you can use the discussion forum which is there in the Swayam portal. Please try to use that forum because that will benefit a lot of students from your doubt or your question which you want to ask. Okay, so first thing is that key when we try to study something like uh, some instruments policies, we get a lot of words that what is a policy, what is a policy instrument, what is the governance, what are the rules, what are regulations, all those things. So generally we need to have a very clear thought about this. But when we are talking about policy, what is a policy? When we are talking about this instrument, what is instrument? Okay, so policy is something like something which has a statement of intent. Like you want to suppose you are a principal of any school. Okay, so you want key students should play more sports so as to become fit. So that is a policy. School has made a policy to promote the sports. Okay, similarly government, or as I say, government of India make policy decisions ki, okay, we will promote this. There is an intent to promote something, like there is an intent to protect the environment, so that is a policy. Okay, so policy is basically a statement of intent to change the behavior in a positive way. That is clear to all. Second thing is policy instrument. So basically when you want to promote a policy, then you give a specific measure or means to translate that intent into action. Like as a principal, you want to promote sports, so what you will do, you will put some 2 3 classes every day for sports. So for every day or every 2 days there will be some classes for sports. That is policy instrument. Okay, similarly. Okay, similarly, Government of India, if it wants to promote, it has made a policy to promote environment. So what it will do? It will put some like something like environmental impact assessment. Every project has to be done. Environmental impact assessment report has to be submitted. So that is a policy instrument. Okay, and governance is basically in terms, governance has obtained as a collective of societies and organization that makes some decisions, like some important decisions. So whenever a society or organization take a decision, so it must be something that is a common to all the people on which they are governing. Okay, so basically what they do in governance, it is a process by which the societies or organization make important decisions and determine who they involve or how they render account. Okay, so these things has to be very clear when we are talking about environmental impact assessment. Policy instrument, governance, and we have rules, regulation, laws, bylaws. What are these things? So I will suggest you guys to go through these definitions. What are rules, what are laws, what are bylaws? Okay, so generally if I ask someone what is the difference between rule and a law, can anyone answer this question? What is the difference between a rule and a law? Any student who is studying law here? No one? Okay, anyone who is very conversant with this term rule and law? So basically law is something which is passed by legislature. Okay, so legislature is like for India, it is Parliament of India. Someone has written something. Okay, Revati has written a rule is a guideline or principle that is established by an authority, organization, or group to regulate conduct and behavior. This is the correct definition of a rule. Rule is something that serves as a guideline. Okay, this has to be something to regulate the behavior or conduct or behavior of a people. So they make a rule like don't, like we make driving rule, okay, drive on the left hand side of the road. Okay, or walk on the left hand side of the road, or walk on the pedestrian pathway. That is a rule. But all those, and if there is something which is very important and requires something uh, that has to be enacted as a law, so that is something which is passed by the parliament or legislature component is called law. Okay, so law itself is a very big instrument and that may contain some rules. Like we have Motor Vehicles Act as a law, then we have Motor Vehicle Guidelines. Various guidelines are there that are rules and regulations regarding to the Motor Vehicle Act. Like if you don't wear a helmet, you will get a fine of 2000. That is a rule. Okay, but If you need to drive a motor vehicle or something, then you need to register and everything. That contains a whole umbrella thing. That is an act. Okay. Next thing is that this question is very interesting question. So we'll have a good amount of time on this question, because I feel all these treaties which are here. Let me take a laser pointer. So United Nations Conference on the Law of the Seas, very important, very important. This is something which defines the marine pollution, or the usage of sea for the benefits, or how the different sea which is utilized by different countries, and all the marine activities are basically regulated under this United Nations Conference on the Law of the Sea. Then we have United Nations Convention on the International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. This is also very important, very important. So we'll discuss that. Don't worry, we'll discuss in the subsequent slides what are these. And I've also put some videos also that will explain all those things very beautifully. So that will help you guys to understand the context in which the laws are actually made. These are not laws, sorry, these conventions are actually happened. Okay, another is United Nations Convention on Human Settlement. So then another is Emoco Cadiz spill of the coast of Britain. That was a very big accident of a ship. So we'll discuss that also, and we'll see that key what happens when oil spill of this category happens actually. So when we all those things, when we this question actually asks match the group one thing with group two. Okay, so you need to match the year in which these things have been happened. Okay, so basically 1974, in 1974 the CITES agreement is this one. This agreement is CITES agreement. So this happened in 1974, and in 1973 there was a discussion for this started. Okay, United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, and it was actually came into force in 1982. Then we have 1978, that is Emoco Cadiz spill off the coast of Brittany. And then in 1976 we have the United Nations Conference on the Human Settlement on the uh, Vancouver, Canada. Someone wants to join the call. Okay. Okay, so apart from this, we solved this question. Now we'll move towards discussing all those things. Okay. So the first thing is United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. That is a very important convention, and it is a binding convention. Has been so you see the map here. This map has some blue countries, then some orange countries, then we have some red countries also. So actually, the blue countries are the ones who have ratified and adopted this agreement. Okay, the red countries are the one who have uh, ratified but not adopted properly of this agreement. Uh, these countries are the one who are not the parties of the agreement, but they have adopted this agreement. Okay, they follow this agreement. So this is the original picture from the convention that happened in 1973. The discussion going on in the United Nations. Okay, in New York itself. And this convention actually came into force in 10th December 1982. So you see various why this convention was very important. Okay, can anyone of you who say something about this convention? Why we need to follow or have a convention of the law of the sea? Okay, why we need a law of the sea? Law of the land, you know. So yes, law of the land is basically like there is India. So we have a parliament. and various state legislature they make laws for the country, that is for the land, people residing on the land. Who but for the ocean you cannot claim ocean, like any country cannot claim the ocean or sea. Okay, so what they do, all the countries came together and decided that there should be some law regarding the usage of sea itself. So let me see if someone has any view on this. Why do we need a law of the sea? What about the areas in dark blue? The areas in dark blue are basically represented by the European Union itself. Okay, so they have individually not ratified, each and every country has not ratified, but the European Union on their behalf has actually ratified for them. Okay, got it, Radha? Okay. So I want your guys, why do we need a law of the sea? So take your time, 1 or 2 minutes, and write in the chat box, or if you want to speak, you can speak. Okay. Anyone wants to speak about this law of the sea? Any change or damage to the sea affects all countries. Really? Sea is very big. So do you think that any damage to the sea will be, the effect will be felt to other areas also? Yes, that's correct. Actually, it will be felt to other areas also because sea is interconnected to all the countries. That defines the rights and responsibility of the country to use of world oceans. Revati has written that is also correct. Sea is a kind of global commons, so there have to be global law. That's a beautiful line. Sea is a kind of global commons, so everybody has. It doesn't. No country has exclusive right to the sea. So yeah, that has to have a global law. A lot of trade and economic activities happen through sea. So don't worry. What this United Convention has actually defined for given for each country, and let me discuss that also. So, what happens? Let me. Somebody wants to join a call. Yeah, admit. Okay. So before that, let me see what is there for every country in this law. So let's say this is continental shelf. So continental shelf is basically land area ending to the sea, and from there we have the sea. This is sea. Okay. So up to 200 nautical miles. So mark the unit. This is in nautical miles. Okay. And up to 12 nautical miles. This is totally the uh, in the control of this country. Okay. Totally in the control of this country. So you, if you want to enter this 12 nautical miles area, you need a visa to enter this. So if any other nation enter this 12 nautical miles area, they can, the countries can arrest them. Okay. For but apart from 1200, then to 200 nautical miles from the self itself, this is called exclusive economic zone. Okay, EEZ. So every country up to 200 nautical miles has the rights to explore the sea. Like if there is any mineral or any fish which is there, so they can capture this fish, they can explore the minerals, they can extract the petroleum, they have the right to each country. So it basically defines the sea border of each country. Okay, similarly for India. But what happens when sea border for some country clashes, like for Sri Lanka and India, like for Pakistan and India? So what they do, they sign some individual agreements, bilateral agreements, and they say that okay, for this much area is yours and this much area is ours. Okay, so this is how the matters at the sea work. Got it. So this has a very important arrangement in describing this sea border of any country. No questions? Or anybody has any question regarding this? Okay. So I think most of you must have got why this is there. Another thing is that trade is any trade which is going on. So whose liability? If there is any damage or something to the environment, so whose liability is there? Something. So all these are decided. This is a very big law that covers the all of the global countries, and they have actually this law is actually very much enforced law. So even if you damage some country's exclusive economic zone, they can sue you also, and they can collect the damage from you also, which you will see in the case of Amoco Cadiz spill. Okay, so France has actually sued the country, the US, or not the US country itself, but the company in the US, Amoco Cadiz. They have sued the country, sued the company, like pay the damage. You have damaged my coast with oil spill. So they have actually agreed to pay them, France. So this is where this United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea is very important. Okay. Another thing is that we have a very important convention, the Convention on the International Trades of Endangered Species in Wild Fauna and Flora. So you see a rhino here. So what they do, they smuggle the nose of this rhino, the horn of this rhino. It's very, very costly. So what they do, they kill this rhino in India, smuggle the nose to China and Thailand and all these things. So this is why sites actually work. Sites enables establish an international legal framework together with a common procedural mechanism for prevention of international commercial trade in endangered species for an effective regulation of international trades in order. So it doesn't cover only fauna like animal, it does also covers flora like marijuana or something. Okay, something on that. Like we generally have drugs in the form of this afim, or you say opium. Okay, so this is how these things actually interlinked with different countries work together. Okay, stop these trade in endangered species of wild fauna and flora. Okay, so another thing is that species has to be endangered. If it is not endangered, then sites regulation doesn't come in force, and it depends on the custom and laws of the different countries with which the trade is happening. That will come under the world WTO, okay, World Trade Organization. So sites governing bodies. So what happens? There is a conference of parties, okay, and there is a secretariat. There is animal committee, and then there is a plant committee, and then scientific advisory bodies are there, which basically advise to different standing committees, and then they all together make different laws and regulation and talks with different countries regarding the this side thing. So what I have done, I have put a video link here also, so you guys can have a good uh, view of this. You can enjoy the video. Let me see if it's playable. This card. Okay, so you guys can please see this video. That's a very interesting video on this this regulation of different species, endangered species under the site. Okay, so why it's Korean art. Okay, they were saying that CITES is there. Okay, so what CITES does, before CITES came, there was a girl whose birthday was there, and she wanted a tarantula, a spider, a very big spider that is in endangered species. So and that spider she wants, so somebody has sold her parents the spider, and they have sourced the spider from some other countries where spider in the wilds are being captured and then sold to US and Canada, and then gifted, purchased as a birthday gift. So spiders in the wild are getting decreased and decreased because of these trades, and they have become endangered. So what they are saying, CITES is saying, okay, first register with us. Let us make an informed decision. Like, you want to trade in this, register with us. We will provide a certificate. You can breed the spider. Don't capture it from the wild. You can breed the spider and then do the trade. We are okay with that. So they have made a schedule 1 and schedule 2. In schedule 1, those species are listed that are not to be traded in any circumstances. Okay, like rhino horns, dolphins, etc. These are critically endangered species. If you trade in them, they will get go extinct. Okay. Then there are schedule two of these things, like tarantula spiders or something. So CITES is saying, okay, we have listed them in schedule 2. You can trade in them, but obtain permission from us, then we will provide you with consent, and the government will provide you the consent, and trade can happen. Okay, so that is basically a responsible trade, where we know that we are trading in them, we are breeding them, so we are not damaging their natural habitat. Okay, so this is what the video is about. So this is a very, very important actually. From next time, I will try to put animation where everything is written on screen. I mean, if it's not audible, you can get the message like in this video. Okay. So don't worry, I put the video like this only, where you can get the message even if it's not written and not audible. Okay. So this is where you can think itself that why, how much this society is actually helping in controlling the trade of animals. Like you see in newspaper, various snakes are being traded and the custom department captures them, or various turtles, sea turtles, those are very expensive, so trade in them happens, and then custom department interrupt, sees them at some airport or some port. So these things are actually under the CITES. Okay, CITES agreement. Another thing is United Nations on the Convention on Human Settlement. So this was basically an idea about adequate basic shelter as a basic human right. So shelter, they have recognized that any shelter, uh, adequate shelters is basic human right. Every human should need is a need adequate shelter for their survival itself. Like they need food, they need air, water, so they need adequate shelter also. So that's why we have the United Nations Conference on Human Settlement in Vancouver 1976. So this is the original pic from the this convention, and you can see the discussion going on between them. Okay, so United Nations Conference on Human Settlement has actually done a lot of things. Like they are also working on some conflict related regions like Palestine, Israeli, so they work uh, in African settlements also. They work a lot, and they are providing actually settlement to the poor people, uh, and generally not poor people, uh, uh, affected peoples, you can say. Okay, that was also a very important conference on the convention on the human settlement. Then comes the Imoko Cadiz oil spill. So I tried to find a lot of videos, but those videos were not very clear in the sense. So I wanted to put the pic here and I will explain it myself. Okay. So what happens? Actually, there was a ship. Okay. So Imoko is the company. Okay. This is a very interesting story. Please listen carefully to the story. Okay. So this is a company, Emoko. Okay. Ship name was Emoko Cadiz. Okay, Cadiz was the ship name, and it belongs to the company Emoko. So this was the ship. This ship was actually used to purchase oil from the Saudi Arabia, and then it delivers shipment to directly to the European countries. So this ship was actually headed from Saudi Arabia to the Netherlands. Okay, in the coast of Brittany. Brittany is a place in France. So in Brittany coast, France, uh, somewhere in the morning there was a very high winds were there. Very high speed winds were there in the ocean or sea. Atlantic Ocean is there, I think. High speed winds in the ocean. So uh, the uh, ability to control the ship, the hull of the ship, there is a radar and hull, okay, at the front of the ship. So the radar was actually damaged. Okay, so rudder was not radar, rudder, RUDDER. Okay, so rudder of the ship was actually damaged. So the maneuverability of the ship, like to move ship here and there through steering. Okay, so that was actually affected. So main reason which was found that there was a hydraulic spill in the steering wheel or something. So that has caused this maneuverability error. So very strong winds were there. So ship started drifting towards the coast. Okay, so ships are very big, so they should remain in adequate depth of water. But because of this high winds, it started drifting towards the coast. So it sends a signal for help to some tugboats in France. So a German tugboats intercepted a signal and came for help in 1 hour. But even if they have actually helped a lot. They worked a lot for 6, 7, 8 hours. They could not stop the drifting of the ship towards the coast. So after uh, around 9 o'clock in the night, the ship rudder got damaged. The hull also got damaged, and a hole was created through which oil was started spilling. And after some time, the ship actually a big damage was reported, and all the oil actually started spilling to the surface of the ocean. And not only surface of the ocean, it was actually carried with the waves also to the coastline also. So this is the actual pictures from the, take a laser pointer. This is actually pictures from the actual ship which is there. It is getting synced. So this, in this you can see, okay, and this is the oil spill along the coast of the France which happened. So this oil spill was not only localized, it carried out to 16 kilometers in the area. Okay, and moreover, the oil spills was very large. You can see it here. Some oil are actually here also. So that was very difficult to remove. And the first time this spill was actually created a sense in the global community that what will happen if we don't take care of these type of things. Okay, so later France helped a lot for this ship crew. They rescued the ship crew also. So they sued this company Amoco in the US district court, and they found out that this company had delayed the actually maintenance of the ship. Okay, so maintenance was scheduled for the ship, but they have delayed the maintenance. Due to that, this happened. Amoco Cadiz oil spilled was actually happened due to that only. So they sued the company. US government, US court also accepted their petition, and they were fined heavily in billions of dollars. So they actually were okay to pay the, because they have damaged a lot. Of France had to do a lot to clean all its source. Okay, so not only this oil spill was, why this oil spill was very important. It was first of its kind, a very big oil spill. Second is it damaged a lot of flora and fauna. It damaged the coastal marine animals, then coral reefs. All those animals which are residing in this area were actually killed. Okay, and not only this coastal environment it damaged, it also damaged the beach. The sand itself contained a lot of oil, and oil penetrated up to 20 inches in depth into the sand. So that was a very big problem to clean the beaches also. You can see here the foam like formation and all those oil spills can be noted down here. Okay, so that was a very big oil spill which happened in 1978. Okay, now let's move to the question number two, that is match the following global environmental timeline. So we have this environmental timeline, the Convention on Long Range Transboundary Air Pollution. This is a very important convention. So what is transboundary air pollution? We'll also discuss that. And what is air pollution? We'll also discuss that. And we have World Conservation Strategy. This is a very important organization, International Union for Conservation of Nation. This publishes actually IUCN publishes a list of critically endangered, extinct, endangered species, vulnerable species list based on the different species or animals or plants which are present in the earth. Okay, so then we have global strategy for health for all by year 2000 by World Health Assembly or by World Health Organization. Then we have Bhopal gas tragedy, a very mournful gas tragedy in India, so we'll see that also. So in 1981 what happened, 1981 we have health for all by World Health Organization. Then in 1984 we have Bhopal gas tragedy, we all know. Okay, then in 1979 we have Convention on the Long Range Transboundary Air Pollution. So in India also you see that in this range also we see some of the legislation regarding the air, like Clean Air Act. Okay, Air Act. Okay, and in 1980 we have World Conservation by IUCN. Okay, so this thing is there. P3, Q4, R1 and S3, this is the correct answer. Now the thing is that how air pollution and long range transboundary air pollution is defined. So convention actually defines air pollution as the introduction by man. This is by far the best definition of the air pollution which I can notice in the different convention or different rule books. The convention defines air pollution as the introduction by man directly or indirectly of any substance or energy into the air, resulting in deleterious effect of such a nature as to endanger human health, harm living resources, ecosystem, material property, and impair or interfere with amenities and other legitimate use of environment. Okay, so anything that goes into air and damage it, and cause damage indirectly or directly also. Okay, to him harm living organism ecosystem is air pollution. Long range transboundary air pollution means air pollution whose physical origin is situated wholly or within part of the area under national jurisdiction of state and which has adverse effect in the area under jurisdiction of another state, such a distance that is not generally possible to distinguish the contribution of the individual emission sources or groups. Okay, so what actually happens in that, what it is talking like, we have uh, some very big industry in, let's say, Iran. Okay, which is emitting a lot of air pollution. So what will do, this air pollution will go, then it will mix with water and contribute to then clouds formation, then these clouds will travel through westerlies to India. Okay, then in India it will rain. So what will happen due to this air pollution and smoke, all those things, acid rain will happen in India. So what happens, the origin is here in the Iran but the effect is filled here in the India itself. So you can see, you can notice this transboundary, it is not restricted to a boundary, but the effect is felt after the boundary itself, after the uh, in another country or in another region itself. So this is called transboundary air pollution. Okay, so I have a very important video from National Geographic and we will see this video. Okay, it has explained beautifully this air pollution thing. Was Caddy is a US company, Amoco is a US company. Okay, So even if you see that what this video is saying, that air pollution doesn't restrict itself to one thing only. It can have a very direct, otherwise indirect effect also, like health problem, etc. Okay. And if you want to restrict the air pollution, then we have to take very um, probable steps like shifting to renewable energy, using less fossil fuels. Okay. Another thing is that key this air pollution thing is actually contributing a lot of things to the environment, that is actually uh, enhancing the effects of Jyoti. These videos will be there in the slides itself. I will share the slides in the problem solving session video slides, so you can go through it. Otherwise, I this whole session itself is actually recorded, so if you want to see this session, you can also visit the YouTube and see the in problem session slides. You will see link by previous T also and by me also, Rohit, so you can visit the link and see them. Okay, so I will show you guys also how to you can access the problem session. So, okay, so what happens? So this air pollution like carbon dioxide, methane, all those things are contributing to global warming also. And those global warming are actually increasing the temperature, and that in fact also leading to enhanced air pollution, because we are using when temperature increases, we use a lot of things like air conditioner. For the air conditioner, we use some other things to production of those air conditioners. So usage of fossil fuels for plastic making, all those things that actually have a cascading effect on different type of things. So air pollution is not limited to one thing itself, it actually has a cascading effect that is contributing a lot to the enhancing the air pollution. So we need to stop it at the first step itself. Okay, where are my slides? Okay, Bhopal gas tragedies. This is a very you say a mournful tragedy for India. So what happened in Bhopal gas tragedy? There was a fertilizer making plant in Bhopal. So basically this plant was for Union Carbide. There was a company. Okay, so they were making fertilizers, and in the night they used the MIC, methyl isocyanate gas, for the making these fertilizers. So they store these gases in these containers or something. So in tanks basically. So in night itself, this gas actually leaked. A huge amount of gas was leaked from this factory, and people were sleeping. And in the sleep itself these gas affected them, and they were actually felt the breathing problem and all those things. Union Carbide Limited, yeah, Radhakrishna, Union Carbide Limited is an American company, but they have partnered with Indian government and they have set up plant here. So what they say, what the Union Carbide after this Bhopal gas tragedy has said that we are an American company, Union Carbide, but we had an arm that is called Union Carbide India Limited, UCIL, that was a specific arm for Indian. So that company should be sued, not us. Okay. So a lot of cases are there. Many people has been arrested. Even the head of the Union Carbide was actually dismissed from his post also. So a lot of actions has already been taken, but many people also walk free also, and many people has died also responsible for this death. So yeah, that was a tragedy that so see, tragedy are not only for punishing the culprits, it is also to learn. Okay, we can have a stringent norms, we can have a maintenance norms, we can have a stringent look into the factories, into the process, so that these type of leaks should not occur in future. Okay, so this isocyanate gas was leaked in the night itself, and in the night people felt heavy breath and all those symptoms, and many people died in the night itself. A lot of people died. And because Bhopal is itself a very big city, and very big city having a lot of population, so over 5 lakh people were actually exposed to this gas. They felt various symptoms due to this gas. And this was basically in the cold December of 1984. You can imagine the cold night of December 1984, and this type of things happen. What do you say? This is a typical tragedy that happened due to the mistakes of Union Carbide. Later, lot of things were found out that they didn't maintain the tanks were they filled the tanks with a lot of gases and the pressure was very high. All those things were found out in the reports. Various district courts also sent the culprits to jail. Also, many culprits died. Also, okay. So basically what we can learn whenever these type of things happen, we need to stop these type of things. We need to learn where we were having a problem, what kind of problem was there. Like even if there is a leak in the night, how can we control that leak? People should know that okay, these steps they have to follow to prevent the uh, effect of these type of leaks. These type of leaks should not happen in the first place itself. Okay, there should be a, contingency steps so that even if these type of leaks happen, what can be done. Okay, now we come to the question 3, that is listed here. Wangari Mutha Mathai, oh, very very famous Wangari Mutha Mathai. So she was actually awarded Nobel Prize. So she is from Kenya, and she actually promoted the planting of trees. Okay, plantation of trees. The Kenya Kyoto Protocol, very important protocol. We'll see Kyoto Protocol in the video. I put a video there also, a very important video that we can see. United Nations climate change in Bali, very important, and then Paris Agreement. So you know Paris Agreement 2015, okay. Kyoto Protocol 2005, and Bali is basically in 2007 is Bali, and then Wangari Mutha Mathai got Nobel Prize in 2004. So the correct answer is answer C. Now all those things you see related to climate change. Okay, climate change, Paris Agreement is basically conference of parties regarding discussion of climate change. So what is basically climate change? So climate change refers to a long-term shift in temperature and weather patterns, and such shifts can be natural. Okay, does it mean that those shift has to be from the human only? Like change in sun activity or large volcanic eruption can also contribute to the climate change. But in the last few centuries, we have seen that contribution of human activity towards the climate change has enhanced it. Earlier, the climate was changing. It's a natural phenomenon. Climate will always change, but the change was not such that we need to think about it. But due to the after industrial revolution, we have put so much of methane, so much of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere that we need to think about it. We need to control the speed at which it is happening. The main greenhouse gas that are causing climate change are carbon dioxide and methane. Quite correct. CO2 and methane. CO2 has a global warming potential of 1. Methane has a 24 or 25. Okay. Someone wants to join. Okay. Another thing is that key human activity is overwhelming cause of climate change. So this was actually found out by various conference of parties that happened and various reports that were published. They identified that human activity is the major cause of the climate change. And basically after the industrial revolution that happened in 18th century and 19th century, okay. Greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide from human activities are responsible for approximately 1.1 degrees Celsius of warming since this much. Okay, so they have contributed 1.1 degrees Celsius warming, and now we are seeing that okay, we need to restrict this warming by 1.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, by the end of the century, but generally we are planning or adapt for 2.0 degrees Celsius. Okay, so these two temperatures rise has to be taken into account when we discuss the climate change. So we all want ki temperature rise should be 1.5 degrees Celsius, but seeing the current status, we are expecting that let's have it by let's have the temperature rise by 2.0 degrees Celsius, and we are putting all our efforts to restrict it by 1.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, after 2.0 degrees Celsius, lot of species will go extinct and we'll feel the effect of climate change at a very higher pace. So one thing is that we need to phase out fossil fuel. Everyone know we need to phase out fossil fuel. What are fossil fuel? That comes from fossil like petroleum, gasoline, diesel, etc. Natural gas. So can we, if we shift fossil fuel with renewables, can it power all the electricity? Can we shift all our electricity to the renewables? So yeah, that is possible actually. Some provinces in some nation states also use nearly 100% renewables. So renewable consists of sun, wind, hydro. Okay, south, like there is example Southern Australia, Quebec, Canada, Qinghai, China, as well as the islands of Tau, Lake, and El Hiro are using 100% electricity from the renewables. Okay, so this is possible. We can shift 100% to the renewables, and you will see that the increase in the renewable energy production has gone a very higher rate. And in the nearby upcoming decades, you will see the renewable energy is contributing a lot to the this energy production. So you can see renewables, renewable. We are here in 2022. Okay, this is the data trillion watt hours. This data is in trillion watt hours. And by the end of 2025, we are expecting the largest contribution from the renewables. So you can see the climb. Everything is constant. Even the coal is decreasing, gas is decreasing, nuclear is somewhat increasing. Uh, Others remain same, but the jump in the renewable is so much from 8349 to 10799. Okay. Another thing is that when you use the renewable like this solar power plant, so it doesn't, if you build a coal power plant here, then it you have to acquire all the land, then we have to build a power plant, then we uh, have to put some dump yard site for fly ash and bottom ash also disposal. But in renewable, you can put a pole here, you can put this solar power plant here, and then you can put the agricultural plants here. You can do agriculture as normal as that. Okay, so this is how it is very important to use the renewable. And even it has been observed by arena, it's very important agency, International Renewable Energy Association something. So they have said that around 4.2 crore jobs will be created due to the possibility of renewable in 2050. Okay, another thing is that how do we replace, we have the solar, okay, we have the wind, but cars doesn't run on solar or wind. So we can use the corn or some other algae or something and derive a biodiesel or bioethanol that can power our cars. We don't need to change the technology, we don't need to change the engines also. With some modification, slight modification, they can be run on these type of fuels also. So you can see if we have a 1.5 degrees Celsius, everything is green. Okay, you know the signal now, red, yellow, and green. So if we restrict our temperature rise by 1.5 degrees Celsius by 2100 end of century, so everything is green. Everything doesn't climate change doesn't have any effect on that. So if we restrict it to 2, then it's yellow. We are going towards the danger zone. And if it's 3, then it's a red zone. You will see a lot of effect. You will see a lot of tsunami. You will see a lot of melting of Arctic ice. You will see a lot of species getting endangered, critically endangered, and extinct. Okay, and maybe the ozone hole, all those things. Okay, so I put two videos that I found very interesting videos regarding this climate change. So we will see those two videos and see how climate change. First, we see the history of climate change, and second, the case study regarding the Kiribati. Okay, this is a country that a group of islands, Kiribati, that is being said that climate change will affect this country very much. Most of its land will be submerged if climate change is a reality. Okay. So you saw that. So that's how you saw that how climate change is actually affecting. It is a real threat actually. And the people are getting affected due to climate change. The countries are getting affected. The island nations like Mauritius, this Maldives and Kiribati, these countries have a lot of effect felt because of climate change. The sea levels are rising. The land is getting absorbed in the sea. You see the man is saying that there used to be a road here and he had to shift 3 times because of the climate change. So this is the region actually. Uh, you can say we need to think about this climate change. We need to learn that climate change is a real thing and we need to work hardly towards it. Not a single thing is contributing, a lot of factors are contributing to the climate change, and because of this you need to work on every single factor that is contributing to the climate change. Okay. So now we move to you saw the two beautiful videos. One is history of climate change, one is Kyoto Protocol, and the third is the case study of Kiribati. These videos were very useful in understanding the effect of climate change and why every country in the world is actually thinking about the climate change, and why there is a need to study the EIA, why there is a need to have an EIA, environmental impact assessment. Okay. Now we move to the next question. That is basically state true or false. In 2003, United Nations General Assembly endorsed the United Nations Decade of Education for Sustainable Development. That is the true statement. Okay, that is true. Then we move to the next question. State true or false. This is up to you guys. In 2005, Millennial Economic Assessments MEA was released. So yeah, 2005 MEA was actually released. Okay. So what does MEA contain? MEA contain basically study of different type of provision by the uh, ecosystem services. So they defined it as a supporting services, provisioning services, regulating services, then cultural and different classification was there. And also they have classified it, and also what constitute the well-being, how they are interrelated, all those things was actually studied in detail in Millennium Ecosystem Assessment. So basically, there was a Millennium Development Goals were there before the Sustainable Development Goals (MDG) were there. So these were the basics from where those for those goals actually. Match the stage in EIA notification prior to environment clearance process. So basically, we first have a screening, then we have a scoping, then we have public consultation, then appraisal. So screening is stage 1, scoping is stage 2, public consultation is stage 3, appraisal is stage 4. So 2, 1, 4, 3. This is the correct answer. So this is the generalized EAA flow chart. So basically, first application for environmental screening form submitted by the applicant. So let's say industry is there as a applicant. Let's say Tata Group is trying to build a power plant. So Tata Group here will apply for the EIA because a big power plant is being built. Okay. Then town and country planning department review the application process and screening for. Okay, so generally depending on the schedule A and schedule B, if it's schedule B, then state will review it, or if it's schedule A, then central authority will review it. Okay, then they will say that there can be three things. One is project not feasible, then stop. Project is not feasible. Okay, then we stop it there. Then there will be category definition like category A, B, or C. So if it's A, then central authority will be responsible to give the permission. If it's category B project, then there is limited EIA. Okay, so they have defined it as a category B. Then if it's category C project, then no EIA is required. Okay, so they can give the permission. Okay, you can go through it. Then for this category A, scoping and TOR preparation, terms of reference preparation will be there. There will be publication of public notice and public meeting approval. Okay. Then impacts will be identified and assessed. Then based on the impacts, like tree will be cut. Then what are the mitigation? Then plant and trees for each tree cut. Okay. Similarly, these type of things will be done. Then EIA report will be prepared. Then EIA report will be discussed in a public meeting consisting of all public stakeholders like general public, like villages which are affected, the people from representative from them will also come to the public meeting. Okay, so if they say ki, no, it's not okay, then again this step will occur. Okay, then finalize the EIA report, or there will be adjustment based on the inputs from different meetings stakeholders. Then it will be submitted to the authority, then decision will be made. So if authority says based on the all those things not approved, then either you need to redesign and resubmit, or you need to stop. If it's approved, then certificate for environmental clearance is given. You go ahead with the project, everything is okay. And then submission of design plans, so they submit the design plans like various architectural structural plans also, and then plans are approved, implemented, and then there is a appraisal also, like review also, whether they have done, if there is a mitigation strategy of planting 10 trees, so have they planted 10 trees or not. Okay, so what happens in EIA process? Site selection, conduct EIA, apply for NOC to the authority. SPCV arrange public hearing. This is for state. Okay. Then application for environmental clearance. Everything is okay. Then environmental clearance is given. Then there is a review by an environmental appraisal committee. Everything is done. EIA is done. Okay. These are simple steps, but these may look simple, but a lot of things go behind this. Okay. The foundation for effective EIA system are clear basis in law and regulation. Correct. Clear basis of objective and statement. Correct. Mandatory compliance and enforcement. Correct. Comprehensive scope of application to proposal with potentially significant impact. That is correct. So everything is correct. We need to look into everything for effective EIA system. So correct answer is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then there is match the following group 1 legal provision with the group 2 example. So what we have, like general environmental law, what can be general environmental law? So this is a law, NEPA is a law. Okay, or Environmental Protection Act in India. NEPA, which country has this NEPA Act? US. Okay, United States of America. Then we have Comprehensive Resource Management and Planning Law. Okay, so that is New Zealand RMA. Okay, Regional Management Authority. Enabling of framework EIA law. So enabling generally European legislation or directives are enabling, because it's a directive. It's enabling the EIA framework, not a law. Comprehensive and prescriptive EIA law, Canadian Environmental Assessment Act. Very important act. Okay. So the correct answer is answer C. Then NEPA is the act which actually started the EIA thing. So we need to know what is NEPA. Is it some kind of act? It's some kind of regulation. What is it? So NEPA is National Environment Protection Act by US, that is passed on 1 January 1970, ratified and signed by the President to act. So it's an umbrella act. Basically, it is the umbrella which contains a lot of acts, like Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act. You can see here environmental justice. Yeah, these type of things are the endangered species act. Everything is there in the NEPA. So it's an umbrella act that consists of a lot of acts, and this is the process through which this is similar like a EIA process that we have in India, but they have designed it for their country itself, US. Like if there is, they have defined a risk or something, then extraordinary circumstances they give the EIA permission. Significant impact, if there is a significant impact, then there has to be a mitigation. So if there is no mitigation, then environmental impact assessment is there. And then if there is no, then finding a no significant impact, they can give the permission for building the project. Okay. So this is the process there. This is a flow chart basically, not a whole process, but a flow chart. Similarly for India, we see the flow chart here. Okay. This one. Okay. National ambient air quality guidelines for number of common pollutant differ with respect to. So very important guidelines, ambient air quality guidelines. So this basically monitored by CPCB, Center Pollution Control Board. So it basically targets pollutant target also, like what are the different pollutants like CO2, CO, SO2, etc. PM, PM2.5, PM10. What are the concentration level like PM 2.5 should be less than 40 microgram per meter cube. Okay, this is normal meter cube, not meter cube. then averaging time like 1 hour or animal or something, then measurement protocols, what are the measurement also, everything is correct here. Okay, match the following definition. We have governance, policy, policy instrument. I think we have studied this in the first slide itself, so this is not very tough. Policy is basically a statement to intent, policy instrument is intent into action, and then governance is policy whereby society or organization make important decision, determine whom they involve or how they can render account. So correct answer is answer C. Objectives of National Air Quality Monitoring Program in India to determine the status and trends of ambient air quality, correct. To ascertain whether the prescribed air quality are violated, correct. To identify non-attainment cities, correct. To obtain the knowledge and understanding necessary for developing preventive and corrective measures are correct. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the correct. So basically we have two questions, national air quality monitoring. So I thought of putting a slide itself for the what is the national air quality monitoring, how it can be. So basically for the smart cities also it is being thought how to accelerate air quality monitoring in smart cities. So this is basically like smart city with no monitoring station, then they can be put logo sensor, satellite monitoring, emission inventory, etc. And inadequate number of monitoring station, logo sensor, all those things are there. A comprehensive thing has to be developed for the smart city. And under the national air quality monitoring program, four pollutants, basically only four pollutants are being monitored. Okay, remember the name of the pollutant. This can be asked in the exam: sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen and NO2, respirable suspended particulate matter, that is PM10, and fine particulate matter, PM2.5. Okay, then basically clearing the air, we have the clean air program, also as a clean air program. So this is how this whole clean air for air plan management for 100 cities and how it will happen, PM2.5, etc., etc. Okay, then match the order recognition and nuisance in the industry under Schedule 1 Environmental Protection Act 1986. Okay, so fermentation industry, so it doesn't have very high order or something. So, sorry, fermentation industry has a lot of order, so all efforts should be made to remove order. Okay, then we have natural rubber industry. So, in natural rubber industry, order should be absent. There should be no order at all. Large pulp and paper mill. So in large pulp and paper mill, so there can be hydrogen sulfide orders. Okay, 10 mg per meter cube. CUM is meter cube. Okay, and coffee processing is not very important. Like there is no significant order. So generally, non-compliance norms, however, public complaint are received. Okay, there is no compliance for coffee processing, etc. Okay, generally fermentation is very high. All efforts should be made to remove order. So correct answer is answer C. So I think now we have come to the last slide of this whole session. So basically I put some important pictures here that I wanted to discuss with you guys, which I find very interesting, and then we will see a video of a very important Paris Climate Change Agreement, and that has defined how the Paris Climate Change Agreement has been reached and all the various climate change talks and how the climate change are actually. That's a very important video which I find it very interesting, and it will enhance your knowledge about this Paris Climate Change Agreement also. So the first thing was United Nations Conference on the Environment and Development. So this was the first conference in Rio de Janeiro, also called the Earth Summit. Okay, so these are the original pictures from the Earth Summit which happened in Rio de Janeiro, which made some concrete steps. We took some concrete steps towards the thinking towards the climate change and then working towards it. Then we have conference of parties at various in various years at various places. So these conference of parties evolve into Kyoto Protocol, then we have Bali Declaration, then we have Paris Climate Change Agreement. Another peak is of Chernobyl nuclear power plant. So I think everybody has a good idea of this Chernobyl nuclear power plant. What happened there? So can anyone inform me or inform the audience about this Chernobyl nuclear power plant? What happened there? Why it is important? Anyone from the students? Can you repeat question 4 and 5? Yes, sure. Question 4 and 5 I can repeat, Indra. So before that, let's see this. What is Chernobyl nuclear power plant accident? Can anyone say? Blast at the nuclear? No, it was not a blast, Jyoti. Not a very big blast or something. It the blast was there, but not very big. The main thing was radiation. Radhakrishna is saying it was a nuclear power plant in Ukraine, which was part of USSR. Yes, sure, Radhakrishna, sure. This is the correct answer. Like it was a nuclear power plant. Then he's saying like, this was the main concern. So what was there? There was a nuclear power plant in Chernobyl. So because of some control rods mishap, when you study the nuclear power plant, there are control rods, there are moderators, there are nuclear fuel rods, everything is there. And more or less it works similar like a steam power plant. But instead of using a coal, it uses a nuclear fuel. But since it's a nuclear fuel like uranium, so uh, very much precautionary steps has to be taken, otherwise it can uh, lead to some big mishap happening. So Jyoti is writing the Chernobyl disaster began on 26 April 1986 with the explosion on number 4 reactor of the Chernobyl nuclear plant near the city of Pripyat in the north of Ukraine, SSR, close to the border with Bel Belarusian SSR and the Soviet. Yeah, Belarus. Okay. So what happened actually because of some mishappening or miscalculation by the technical operators there was a small blast in the reactor. So because of that blast, the fuel rods actually uh, got uncontrollable and radiation leaked, and there was put each and every effort to stop that mishap for increasing, but the steps were not adequate, or maybe they don't have that much of technology in 1986 to contain. Nobody has thought about it, that nuclear mishap of this much scale can occur. Okay, mainly Soviet Union also responded very not a very fast response was there from the Soviet Union, Soviet countries. Okay, nowadays nuclear power plants are automated for their performance. I mean, this is not safe. Israel put some virus Stuxnet in Iran's nuclear program, which made it. Yeah. So basically, Israel put a this is off record thing. Israel put a virus Stuxnet in their centrifuge actually. So what they do, they concentrate the uranium to the level that it may be used as to make some nuclear, uh, weapon. Okay. Uh, so that was the case. A big then they could not control it, and then there was a big blast in which the roof and everything was damaged, and then nuclear radiation was spread to a big area. The whole Chernobyl town has to be emptied overnight or within a week, and it affected a lot of people. Even the babies which were born later were actually born with some disabilities. That was very bad mishap containing a nuclear uh, power plant or something. Okay, this was the first thing which, but nowadays, yeah, Radhakrishnan is quite right that more automated system are there, but these the nuclear thing are quite complex. So even if you do a lot of automation, at that time also there was a lot of ma- machine control was there, not automation but machine control was there. Still this mishap happened. Indra is saying, sir, nuclear power plant is considered clean energy. Yeah, clean energy because it doesn't emit any emission directly. It can have a indirect emission like transportation of fuel or making of some nuclear power plant, but it doesn't contribute emission directly. So it's a clean energy, but very hazardous. Yeah, very hazardous. Um, in recent times, can anyone name one nuclear mishap which happened recently? Let's see, anybody remember that? Recent, like in the 10 or 12 years or something. A very big nuclear mishap actually happened. Let me give you a guess. It's in Japan. Fukushima. Yeah, Jyoti got it. Fukushima nuclear mishap. So there was actually tsunami, and earthquake, and that actually damaged the core of the reactor, or anyways, so reactor was damaged, and so Japan is actually thinking of phasing out all the nuclear reactors because it's a high earthquake-prone country. Now, even if you build a very high level of concrete and make a earthquake resistant structure, but always there is a case of tsunami and earthquake. Natural forces can damage everything. So even if you build a very strong structure, it cannot withstand a natural force. Okay, so Japan is actually thinking of phasing out all those nuclear power plants. So that comes, then we have actually then not only Russia and Japan, even the United States, world's small developed country which has the tech in nuclear, it also has a nuclear accident in 3 Mile Island. So let me show the slides. So you see there is a board here. Actually, it happened in the night of this, and the leakage of nuclear contained gases with iodine and something. So on the March 28, 1979, several days thereafter, as a result of technical malfunction. So you see, world advanced countries also saying technical malfunction and human error. 3 Mile Island Unit 2 nuclear generating station was the scene of nation's worst commercial nuclear accident. Radiation was released as a part of the nuclear core was damaged. Nuclear core got itself damaged, and thousands of the residents evacuated the area. Events here would cause basic changes throughout the world's nuclear power industry. So you can see the even the US does also have a nuclear mishap happening in the country. Okay, so now Indra was asking about question 4 and 5. Can I repeat question 4 and 5? I think question 4 and 5 is a statement, true and false statement. Doesn't have any something concrete. So state true or false. In 2005, Millennium Ecosystem Assessment was ready. Yeah, correct. In 2005, we have the Millennium Ecosystem Assessment. So I have this chart actually, Millennium Ecosystem, various agriculture regulating services were there. Okay. So it's a true, and then in 2003, United Nations General Assembly endorsed the United Nations Decode of Education for Sustainable Development. This is also true. Okay. So now we move towards seeing the video, which is very important, which I find very important actually. So let's see the video and then we will end the session. Okay, so I got to see that. I think you guys must have got a good idea about this climate change thing. Okay, so let me show you this where I will upload this session, and so you can access these slides and session here. Okay. So this is Swayam portal. I go to this courses, then I go to not this course, this one. Go to course. Okay, sorry. Okay, now there is a tab called problem solving session here. Click on this, then problem solving session recording. Click here for the recordings. So you will see my recordings are here. Okay, you can click this recording. You can click on the slides and go to access these slides also here, from slides for week 1, week 2, week 3. Okay, and then you can go here and see the recordings also. So this is for week 1, similarly for week 2, and I will upload here for week 3. So you can access those slides from here. Okay, Isha has actually uploaded some videos for her also. So we basically cover both the all the weekly contents here in our videos. So you can access both of the videos or anyone else if you want to see. Also, there is a survey here. So if you want to take part in survey on the problem solving session, so you can submit your feedback also. So I could know that what are the problems which are getting faced by the students. Okay, and this is the discussion forum. So you can ask your question here also, discussion forum. New conversation, and then put your question here if you want to ask any question. So I think most of the doubts has been answered. So thank you guys, thank you for this session. It was a wonderful session with you guys, so we will meet again in the next week. Okay, goodbye.